So in this tutorial, I want to teach you most of the operations you'll be doing when you're working with the Sui TypeScript SDK, right? So the first thing you want to honestly do is get the SDK, and you can do that with the npm. So it's npm install or I, and then at meston/sui.js, and then that should easily install that for you. I already have it installed, so it doesn't take any time on my own part. And then let us easily just connect to the blockchain first with the client and easily just print something just so you can get started. And so I'm just going to use imports and get full node URL and Sui client. And so yeah, I'm just going to continue with that. And then the first thing I want to do is declare my RPC URL. So it's as easy as const RPC URL is equal to use the get full node and then use one of the networks, right? So this is going to be using the Sui official what they call it, RPC, right? So you can see all of them here pretty much. For mainnet, this is it, and just pretty much the official ones. And so yeah, so next is to create my client actually. So declare my client and then specify that the URL is RPC URL as we've previously defined. Now let's say we wanted to get the current system state of the Sui network, right? So we're going to do that with an asynchronous function, and then we're just going to fill that, removing this. And so I'm just going to pass on adding anything here, and as easy as const status is equal to, then use the client dot get latest Sui system states, and then I'm not going to log the status, right? And then I can easily just come out here and let me add an await here actually, and then I can easily just call the main function, and once I run that I should get the current system state. So you can see everything that's about like on Sui right now. You can easily just scroll up to see the epoch we're currently on. Yeah, that said, I'm just going to remove all of this and then show you how to generate key pairs and then get your public and private key. So say you're building some wallet utility, you can easily do that, right? And so the first thing you want to import is the key pair scheme. So I think it's this one, ed25519 key pair from the meston/sui/key pairs/ and then the key pair scheme. And then now you can now easily create a new key pair like this. Yeah, so that fixes that. And so now it's as easy as specifying key pair dot and then get public key, right? And then you can also do a dot and then first the Sui address, right? And this will give you a readable Sui address that you all know about. And so we can also do the same thing, const private key, and then use the get private key to get a private key. Yeah, so it's actually get secret key, not get private key, get secret key, right? And so I'm just going to print this to public key and console.log private key. And when I run this, we should get a regular Sui public key and another private key. So yeah, do not use any of these actually, they are just dummy. So yeah, so that's it. Now you know how to generate keys and public and private keys. The next thing we want to do is read balances, right? So let's say you're working with something and you just want to easily read all the person's balances and then eventually do stuff. We're going to need the clients in this case, so I'm just going to roll back to what we were when we were working with clients, and then we're going to use that, right? So now we're back here. I'm going to remove this and create a new asynchronous function, and this time it's going to be own coins. So we want to like easily get all the coins that the person has based on their address. And so I'm just going to do this. And now we're going to use the get coins function like this. Coins, it's client dot get coins, right? And then you have to pass in the owner, right? So it's as easy as owner, and then specify the address in this case. So I'm just going to go get an address right now, and then I'm going to pass it in. And I pasted it here. And now the next thing we want to do is actually to pretty much log the coins that the person has, right? So that's easy as console.log, and yeah, as easy as that. I also want to add an await before this. Cool. Now I can now easily call the function. So own coins, right? And then when I run this, we should get all the coins that that address has. So you can see here is Sui, and you can see like the Sui object or the Sui coins that the person has. Right. Now coins and objects objects are tokens, right? So coins and objects are very different. And let's say we wanted to get all the person's objects, right? So we want to get all the objects. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have to use the get all coins function instead of the get coins function. So it's get all coins, and then it's as similar as this, and then we can now loop through the entire thing to access all the coin data. So I'm just going to remove this, and then I'm going to specify that I need the coin data. So it's as easy as get coins is equal to coins.data. Right. And so now I can iterate through all the coins and then get and print them out for you. So it's as easy as coin of coins. Is there a problem here? Cannot we declare? Oh yeah, all coins. Yeah, and so now I can now easily log all of them. So it's I want to log the coin type, so all the details, right? So I want to log the coin type and some other details. So that's easy as console.log coin.cointype. Then I want to easily log all the details, right? So for each one I want to log all the details. Coin object ID, and then let's also do balance, right? So let's do balance. And so if there's more data, because this data is actually paginated, I want to get data that's like subsequent data. And so it's as easy as if own coins, right? Actually, if coins in this case, if coins has next page, right? Since data is paginated, then we want to easily handle that. So it's as easy as console.log more data available, and then finally just easily call this. And so in this case, we're not just going to get just Sui, you're going to get all the objects that the person has. So you can see the first it gets us all the Sui, and then it gets us every other object. So now let's send transactions, and I'm just going to paste some imports and some other stuff. So pretty much the only thing that you probably new to is this transaction. So you just import transaction from the transaction, and then pretty much now we can now like use the client to send a transaction. And before we do that, we actually have to import a key pair, right? So in this time around, we actually have already a wallet, and we want to like use it to send the transaction. And this wallet already has something. So in this case, we want to send some food coins from one wallet to another. And so the way you're going to do this is very simple. So let's define a key pair variable. And we're not creating a new one this time around. We're actually trying to get a key pair from a secret key. And so it's going to be this dot from secret key, and then you can now specify the key pair. So I'm just going to paste a dummy one right now, and then we can use that. So pasted it, and now we can now declare the contact address of the coin that we want to send. So it's as easy as, let's just call it food type, and then I'm just going to specify it. So that's the food debug CA, but I just have to add the module name. And now next thing I want to do, let me just declare a function, right? I want our function to send coins. So let's call this function send coins. And in this function, the first thing we want to do is as easy as creating the new transaction. So it's const new transaction, like that. And then I'm just going to remove that. Yeah, so we created a new transaction instance. And then the next thing we want to do is actually, just for checks, we want to get all the food coins that the person has, so we can check if the person has enough balance, and then send transaction. And so I'm just going to do declaration and then get the coins. So now in this place we have to specify the person's address and then specify the controller address, more like the package or the type. In this case we call it food type, right? And the way you're going to do this is like this. So owner is keeper dot get public key dot to Sui public key, which is the public key that we all know, right, and we all use. And then the next thing you specify is now this should actually be coin type. So yeah, now that we specified that, we want to do our if statement that checks if the person actually has any coins in their balance. And so it's as easy as if coins.length is 0. So I want to check if it's 0. So this is coins.data.length actually. .data.length is 0. Then we want to log that the person doesn't have a balance. Console.log coin not found works, and then we want to return. So the next thing we want to do is actually to split coins. So let's say the person has multiple coin objects for food or whatever, and we want to split and then send out of what we just split. Here's how we're going to do it. So it's as easy as first specifying coin. So cx.split coin, and then passing so coins.data, the first one, right, and then get the coin object ID and then specify how many we want. So in this case I'm just going to specify as much as I want, and now we can now transfer what we just split. And so you can do that with cx.transfer objects, and then you specify the coin. In this case ours is coin, and then the next thing you have to specify is the sender, person you want to send it to. So I'm just going to paste one, right, and this should actually be encapsulated. Yeah, so that works. And now finally we want to send the transaction. I'm going to send the transaction with, so this is how I send the transaction. Await client dot, and we're going to use the sign and execute transaction. So sign and execute transaction, and then in here we're going to specify the signer and the transaction. So it's going to be signer, which is the key pair, right, and then transaction is tx, right. And now we can now like get some additional data from the results. So we can easily log, say anything we want to log from the results. We can log the balance changes, the checkpoints, the effects, whatever. But in this case, I want to just log the digest. So I'm just going to do result.digest. And yeah. So now I'm going to call this function send coin. Yeah, and then run this. Oh, I'm guessing the invalid Sui address. So what I want to do is let me just quickly replace this owner with a valid Sui address, right? So I'm just I'll run this again. So now you can see the digest and everything works fine. You can easily just open this in an Explorer and then check out the transaction.